and I thought I was about to have a bullshit meeting. So I want to tell you guys something that happened to me today, right? And I didn't anticipate that I would have so much fun in this particular meeting, but man, oh man, oh man. So here it is. I get a call, right? I kind of got reached out. It was a cold call on LinkedIn. So I really want to tell you guys a little bit about the power of LinkedIn, but I'll try to stay on task. All right, so I get a couple of little, intros on LinkedIn, right? Guy calls me up and says, "Hey, Randy, I'd like to buy you coffee and talk a little while," right? So what do? You go in and you look into what people are all about. And I didn't anticipate that, given how I thought this was going to just be a bullshit meeting, that I would have as much fun, learn as much, and make a connection to a potential client and become a client of theirs. All right, so here it goes. So I get this, message. Hey, I work for. I'm not going to tell you the name right now. I work for this financial blah 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 company, right? So I thought, oh man, one of those. And I says, oh, okay, right. Guy seems interesting enough, right? I looked at his profile and stuff like that, like we normally do. And so I decided to take the meeting. A couple weeks go by, we couldn't meet because, I'm building out products and stuff like that, and getting ready to start teaching the entrepreneurship class again this year. So I was kind of busy. So anyway, we ended up meeting. Now, we met at a Starbucks. I don't typically care for Starbucks because, that's just me, right? The coffee. But, I decided to take the tea. Meet the guy at the shop. I go in. It's a brand new Starbucks. It's really, really nice in there. So the guy, I go up to one guy and says, "Hey, are we meeting today?" Because I really couldn't remember how the guy looked, right? And the other guy says, "No. But have a nice meeting." Right? Then, he stands up and says, "Hey, we're meeting." So I go over, talk to the guy. And I tell you, once we started getting into the conversation about what I want to do from a buying stock standpoint, right? I started an LLC to just hold a particular area that I want to do in my stocks, right? Now I have some other stuff that I do with the Ameriprise, and they're buttoned down, and they're all good and all that kind of stuff. So, but this is an area of speculation, right? I want to, it's the area that I put together, a collection of areas actually that I put together, and it is VR, AI, right? Artificial intelligence, so virtual reality, artificial intelligence, blockchain, augmented reality, and life sciences. So it's called, I think it's called Vraber Carl's Technologies, right? So I created the LLC, Vraber Carl's Technologies, right? With those letters as the acronym, if you will, right? And now I hadn't taken the time personally to go out and start buying and picking all the stocks because, well, I'm thinking that could be kind of a waste of my time because I'd have to go and do all the research on it. So him calling me, he didn't know this at the time. Him calling me was right on time with what I wanted to do anyway, right? So get this, why I think the usefulness of starting doing some of the marketing on LinkedIn is because you never know where you're going to find people in their life at that particular time. So he happened to catch me. I was a warm kind of potential client, right? But we sit down and we start just rocking out some of the things I believe that he can do in the space that he is in, right? Young guy, 23 years old. And I go, well, I'm not, that old, but, this is a young guy. He's starting off. He's doing some interesting things. He dresses like an older adult. He's got a watch, for goodness sake. Who has a watch? Not an iWatch or anything like that, but a regular watch. I says, "Guy, how old are you?" He says, "Oh, I'm only 23. But the power of what's possible when these 23-year-olds having a conversation with someone that's a couple of years older than he, right? And the things that he can do within an industry that typically has older people in it. So we started talking about what was possible, some things that I suggested to him that he could start that's outside of the regulations, because in that industry there's, they're just regulated like heck, right? But how he can start providing value and information and all that good stuff. That's why it turned into such a great conversation, because now he is telling me he wasn't doing any selling. And this is what I told him: when you're going to be talking to folks that are my age, and I'm, like I said, I'm not that old, but still I'm a little older than he is. I said, they're going to be looking at you first like, this guy's 23, what the heck does he know? But he had to do all the tests, right? He had to do the FBI background, because that's standard in this industry. But the main thing is that once he started conversating with me and talking with me and assuaging some of the fears that I might have with somebody that is in his age group, if you will, then we were able to now share some knowledge. So we did a 2-person mastermind there, and he ended up winning my business, right? Now keep in mind what I said earlier. It started off as a call on LinkedIn. So that's the new cold call, right? LinkedIn you have the opportunity to really just go in cold, and if you can start conversating with folks, getting into the space that they might be in, right? Now you can potentially make some business or get some business from this. Great opportunity, right? I'm going to be doing some videos a little bit later on LinkedIn and how to market on LinkedIn and how to do some things, how to reach out, some of the things that you might want to say. Now this is up against another company that was in his same space, but the guy immediately went into selling mode. He sends me this long, list of things that he can do for me without even meeting me. Now, of course, you may not be in a position to meet people face to face, but you could send out just a little something that says, hey, I'm in this space. What would you like to do? Can we have some coffee if you're in the same town like we are? But if you're outside of town, maybe you can do a virtual coffee, right? You send them a $7 gift certificate to their coffee when you meet on Zoom. So when he and I were talking, this is what we really talked about. It's like, hey, listen, you're 23 years old. You can do a lot of things. You can make a lot of mistakes, and you can have a lot of fun within this, even within your regulated industry. So I was able to give him maybe 4 or 5 different ideas that if he enacts these, I believe that would expand his business significantly. Now, I can't help teaching, right? It's what I do. It's what I love to do. And I can't help but sharing with somebody that is open to listening. When you have a business, and in this particular case, it's in the financial services space, right? But you still have to build your book of business. When you start talking about the best ways to do that, right? And you may be, let's say you're millennial or you're Generation Z, if you will, right? Doesn't matter. You can increase your opportunity to have conversations with not only people in your age group, but people that have a lot of money to spend, which may be in my age group. I'm not a Gen Xer. I'm not quite a Gen Xer, but I'm not too far from it. So now when he's having that conversation with me and he's listening to some of the things that I'm sharing with him, and I have a belief that he'll put these things in play, I gave him thousands of dollars worth of ideas. Right now, get this. Now, this is how cool having this meeting that I thought initially was going to be a bullshit meeting, having this meeting and how it turned into something very, very interesting. And now I'm making content around it, right? So giving him 4 or 5 ideas on what he could do to build his book of business, he listened to, wrote them down, took some notes. And then I says, now, you may not think you have the time to do these things, but get this. If you were able to go right after our meeting, take the notes, and now create some content. Now, this is what I'm doing. We literally just had this meeting today. And I'm now home in my home office creating content around it. This is the same thing that I suggested to him. And I'm going to send him the link to this video. You can be sure of that. But that becomes what's possible for you guys out there, right? Young ladies out there. You're building your book of business. Now, on that first meeting, you want to start creating content around it, right? I mean, you don't want to bring the video camera and the recorder to the first meeting, but take notes. Talk to the folks, right? Understand what they're going through. Understand how you can, build off of the adjacent conversations that you could potentially, that you're having with the people right there. Start asking questions and then listen to the answers. If they're older than you, we love to impart on people younger than us tons of information, especially if they'll listen, right? Now that becomes the opportunity. This is what I wanted to share this video with you guys about, is that, something that you might think is just going to be a BS meeting, right? You show up for that meeting. Start listening. Start, asking the kind of smart questions that now have you learning about your potential customer, right? And then sharing with them your journey so you can very quickly increase the know, like, and trust you paradigm, right? Someone comes in that is, in that Gen X, age group, they're looking at somebody 23 saying to themselves, I'm not going to listen to this person, right? They're too young. They don't know anything. They haven't lived, right? Now, I say that for you Gen Xers and the ones that are just under Gen Xers like me, listen to them. You never know the things that they might have to share, the new stuff that they're doing, how you can take some of the old school stuff that you do to build your book of business, and now create opportunity with the person that has maybe new school tools, right? Now, I happened to be reading a book at the time. When I came, I was reading a book. I was at home at my home office reading a book because I'm getting ready to prepare to do some more content. And this one's called Deep Work by Cal Newport. Right now, in Deep Work, this is what the guy is talking about. We've got to be able to do hard things, right? Be willing to have the kinds of conversations that you may not totally be familiar with, but then go into a space where you can now think about it, do deep things, do deep work, and now create potential content off that stuff, right? Create opportunities for yourself off that stuff. How many people do you know that aren't doing that aren't going into states of deep work, deep conversations with themselves, going in and not letting social media and all the pings that you get from that, not let all that stuff interfere with what you're trying to do. Now, getting back to this meeting that I had, that I really went in with the idea that this is going to be a BS meeting, man. He's going to try to use all his youthful energy on me and sell me and all these products. This is going to be bad, but it wasn't. It was awesome. And when we masterminded together and came up with a couple of ideas, what I was able to gain is potentially someone that wants to learn more about the stuff that I do. And now he has an opportunity to get business from me, right? Because if I now invest some of the money into the LLC, now I created my own LLC, to invest in different types of stocks. But these are a particular kind of stocks. What I'm investing are what is new now: life sciences, right? Augmented reality, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality, right? These are all the things I believe that are going to be super duper hot coming in the next millennia, right? I think there's going to be hot. Some of them are hot right now, right? You're understanding what blockchain is doing. You understand what some of the VR stuff is doing. It's just so many exciting opportunities. So what I'm going to be doing is creating, again, this LLC to invest in those things. Now, I'm doing this as a strategy to be able to pass this on to my heirs, right? I can give them the whole LLC as opposed to individual stocks that they would have to, value, that goes through, probate if I didn't put it specifically who's going to get it. All these different things. And I'm saying, wait a minute, is there a better way that I can pass along the things that I create to my heirs, right? Now, anyway, I know this is 4 or 5 different topics, but I really wanted you guys to hear this and to be able to say, hey, listen, if you're going to be utilizing LinkedIn, which I think you should be doing like crazy, here are some of the benefits of taking what you think are going to be those BS meetings, right? The benefit of going out there and just listening to what people have to say. Ideas come from that. And you guys know that anybody that has taken some of my courses, my Earn Every Dime Online, whether you're listening to the podcast or Earn Every Dime Online show, or whether you are, taking some of the other courses that I have, I'm always doing everything I can to help you monetize your life. That is a monetize your life moment. You're just taking a meeting. It's just a moments of your life. And now from that meeting, you're going to be able to create multiple opportunities for yourself. That's the key. And that's what I wanted to share with you today, right? How a bullshit meeting could turn into something even bigger for two people. And it started on LinkedIn. Hey, hopefully this has helped you a little bit. Subscribe, hit the button below if this has been of service to you. If you want to share this information with somebody, send it over to them. Say, hey, listen, hey, you here's something that I think somebody can help you with. I want to share this with you. And then ask them to share it too. All right? Hey, listen, I'll talk to you next time. And in the meantime, take those BS meetings, because you never know how you can monetize your life and make some money from it. We'll talk to you next time.